Hey guys, so this was requested and it's another this versus that video, and it's going to be against the L'Oreal Hip Jelly Balms versus the MAC Tender Tones. Now these are the only ones I have of each. I only have one Hip Jelly Balm and I only have one Tender Tone. So this is my little comparison. I've watched a couple of these videos trying to see what other people think, and basically they have the same thoughts I do. They both come in the same jar type. However, the MAC Tender Tone appears to be bigger than the Hip Jelly Balm, but in reality, they are the same size. So, this is the Hip Jelly Balm. This is the MAC Tender Tone. Now, they both kind of have difficulty getting out, and so the Hip Jelly Balm, I forget what color this is in. I can't tell you, but I've used a pretty good amount of it, and it is really pigmented. It's a pretty bubblegum pink. Now, the Tender Tone, I've used, again, a pretty good amount of this. I got this at the CCO in Orlando, and this one is an Easy Baby, and I got this about 2 years ago. Only thing about the MAC Tender Tones are they are discontinued, so if you do want to find them, you're going to have to go on a site that sells, discontinued products, like a wholesale site, or you go to a CCO. Now, the MAC Tender Tones are $14.50, and the Hip Jelly Balms are about $8.99. The only thing that I like about the Hip Jelly Balms is, if you go to Walgreens, they always have buy one, get one 50% off, or buy one, get one free. So you can get 4 of these on a buy one, get one free for the price of one Tender Tone. So you could try out all the colors versus this, you only have one. So obviously if you're looking, if you're on a budget, I would say definitely check out the Hip Tender Tones. The Hip Jelly Balms versus the Tender Tones, because the Tender Tones are more expensive. Now, the smell. The Tender Tone smells like kiwi, strawberry kiwi. It kind of reminds me of a Snapple drink. It smells so good. And the Jelly Balm smells like vanilla. So for the scent, I do prefer the Tender Tone just because it's fruity and I like fruity smells. For the texture, now the Hip Jelly Balm is a lot more glossy and pigmented. See it there? Than the Jelly Balm. See how glossy that is? Then the Tender Tone. I keep mixing these up. But the Tender Tone is more sheer, so you can't even see that. But I think it might be just the colors there. You can see the reflection. It might be just the color I have in the Tender Tone. Now, I do like both of these. I think they're both equally great products. However, I seem to reach more towards the Hip one for some reason, and I can't really tell you why, because I have used more of the Hip one. I think because it has such a great pigmentation, whereas this is just, a soft kind of nude color. But they both are very moisturizing and very nice on your lips. They're perfect for the summertime because, they're like a little lip gloss. They're shiny, but they're not sticky. The only thing about this, the Tender Tone has SPF in it. So if your lips are sensitive or you're looking for a great balm for the summer, I would check out the Tender Tone because the Jelly Balm does not have SPF in it. As for the texture is a little harder in the Jelly Balm, and by harder I mean a little more, how do I say, what kind of texture is it? It's a little more thicker, whereas the Tender Tone is really soft and almost like a Vaseline consistency, but they're both very moisturizing. So either or, I think they work great. Now, the Hip Jelly Balms are a dupe for the Tender Tone, so if you are on a budget, honestly, I would say get the Hip Jelly Balms because they're exactly the same. But if you have the money and you just want to blow it, you got money to blow, then I would say get the Tender Tone because honestly it is a really good product, and I'm kind of sad they discontinued it because, they have all these pretty colors, and, I love the packaging. It's so cute. So overall, these are both really great jelly balms, and I would have to say they're a tie. The only difference for me is the price. So if you guys have any reviews on these, leave them down below, and I'll talk to you soon.